Why in the world do we spend so much time, money, modifying motorcycles? What's up, guys? If you don't know me, my name is Dylan. I own Wretched Clothing. It is a clothing business. We do have some accessories, saddlebags, different things like that. It is centered around motorcycles, specifically Harley Davidsons. And I've been riding since I was 19, been riding for a little while. And I want to talk to you today about something that comes up all the time in the forums, online, and there's always, you'll see it pop up on a Facebook post. And it got me thinking. So I want to talk to you today. Why do people modify their motorcycles? I think there's two reasons for that. We'll get into both. Right now, if you like this, hit that like button. Subscribe if you like this kind of content. I greatly appreciate it. And of course, we have a store, wretchedclothing.com, if you want to go check that out. The link is in the bio. But let's get to it. So first, I think the first reason, and this is something that people in the car, truck, whatever, the automotive industry, they don't really see this. You're going to have people who will modify their motorcycle based on comfort and necessity alone. So a big reason, let's take my dad, for example. He does not modify his vehicles. However he gets it, he gets it. He's not into that. He's not into any type of customization, none of that. But he's changed some things on the bikes he's gotten. And I think a big reason for that is motorcycles are meant to be customized. They are meant to be tailored fit. My opinion, that is why Harley Davidson has always reigned supreme. Very seldom do you find very stock bikes. Very seldom do you find people riding completely stock bikes. Reason for that is simply, I'm 6 foot tall and I'm supposed to ride the same bike that somebody who's 6'5" and 5'5" off the showroom floor. How is that possible? Because if I were to get into that person's vehicle that was 6'5", I would probably have to move the seat up, adjust everything, and get itself into position where I can drive that vehicle. Same thing with a person who's 5'5". I may not be able to get in their vehicle at all until I push the seat back and slide myself in. Well, vehicles are adjustable. Pretty much, I would assume every vehicle at this point is at least adjustable on the seat. They have multiple adjustments, usually sliding back and forth, seat back. You can even raise and lower some seats. You can tilt the wheel. You can telescope the wheel. And some vehicles even have adjustable pedals. Motorcycles don't have that. Some things are adjustable, but very few. You might be able to adjust the pitch on your shifter a little bit. Maybe the angle on a peg, depending on how it is. You can loosen up the handlebars a little bit, adjust a little bit, but there's nothing there that you can really make fit to you. And for that reason, you have to change things. Some of the biggest and most important things people do right off the bat is a seat and handlebars. Because you have to have a good riding position to, one, be comfortable. I mean, if you're not comfortable on a bike, and if it just hurts to ride, you can only ride it like 30 minutes, what's the fun in that? Also, it still needs to be comfortable and safe and to be able to ride it better. Some handlebars, a lot of times we'll call like beach bars or like those wheelbarrow bars. When you turn, and they're so low and down, and when you want to turn, especially some of us bigger guys, those handlebars want to go into your stomach and you have to turn like that. Absolutely terrible. So it is very important for a motorcycle to kind of be tailored towards you. Now, the reason why I bring this up is because on the forums all the time, Facebook groups, all these different things. Somebody will talk about wanting to change something, and there's always that guy, usually he's an older person, and will say, well, I don't know why you even want to change anything. I've got 50,000 miles on my bike. Not a problem. Keep it stock. Well, maybe, just maybe, that bike fit you pretty well from the factory. My dad had, I think it was 2010 Ultra, and that fit him pretty well. I think he enjoyed most of it. And then he ended up wrecking that one, and of course, he was fine. But the newer one he got was a 22 maybe, or a 20. It was a 20, something like that. And it just didn't fit him the same. The seat and handlebar combo just wasn't quite the same. And he had to do some different changes. He ended up changing the suspension to make that work. So I'm glad those people on the forums don't have to change much, or maybe they're not doing long distance riding or whatever, or maybe they're just fine with however it comes out and don't even realize how much better things could be, but it is what it is. And then you have some people who want nothing to do with Harley because they say everything that comes on it is just complete crap, right? And a lot of people who are Harley enthusiasts specifically are okay with that because they don't want most stock stuff anyways. I rather pay like the cheapest I can for a motorcycle because I don't want any of what they think is going to be good, because the aftermarket has taken care of that for us. We can try different things. I'd rather have the base price, the cheapest thing I can get, as long as the bones are good. I always say Harley sells canvases, not a motorcycle. That's just me. Comment down below how you feel about that. Of course, you always have those things like people can't find the right color they want a custom paint job. Exhaust is another big one. Even people who aren't really into modifying vehicles, a stock exhaust is really quiet. And a lot of times people will ride based on how the motor sounds, and you can easily shift, do all those things without looking at any gauge, just based on the RPMs. Well, if you can't hear it, that's kind of hard to do. Same thing, people will use an exhaust to communicate to somebody else who they're riding with. Sometimes you're riding tight, riding hard with a pack, you're coming up to a turn, you're going to turn left, you might blip the throttle once. You turn right, blip the throttle twice. Some people communicate with their exhaust. You're riding and you hit that exhaust a couple times and it alerts the person next to you, what's up, what's going on. They look, they're paying attention, because you're not going to be able to scream at somebody and yell at them. So an exhaust could be that feature, and of course it is easier for people to hear you and know you're there when it is harder to see you because you're much smaller than a car. So you have all those aspects that have nothing to do with the automotive, like car, truck, whatever industry. And I don't understand why people kind of hate on people who modify a motorcycle. Comment what you think, but I think motorcycles are designed to be customized, even if it's not a Harley. You have all these, like, I think Honda does it. I even think Indian does it. I think they have adjustable windscreens on some of their bikes. They'll go up and down based on what you need because of how tall you are, because the buffeting effect will be much different. That's part of it. It's an adjustable windscreen. Well, it's like me changing the windscreen on mine. I have two different windshield setups. That's because of that. It depends on what you want to do. Secondly, people like to modify things. People want to ride better, faster. They want to be able to handle better. They want to be able to lean more. This is a 08 dyna lowrider that we're doing a build series on right now. And the lowrider is just that. It's a low riding bike. So I want to raise the suspension up. I raise the suspension up on most of my bikes because I want the lean angle. But I'm also a taller person. I can get away with that. I want it as tall as I can get it based on, my height. Obviously, I can't go but so tall. It doesn't need to be dirt bike level where I have to jump off of it. But, you want to change certain things to get the most travel. It's going to help with road trips. It's going to help with riding hard, all those things. It just makes it better. But I've also seen, so back when I really got into the motorcycle community, it was before this whole performance thing has taken over Harley. Everyone always talked down about Harleys being big, heavy, and slow. Now, are they compared to any crotch rocket? Absolutely. It just is what it is. They're two different bikes. Now, I will tell you that it is more fun in the challenge of making a heavier, slow thing fast than it is to just making a fast thing a little faster. And a lot of people love tinkering with things. I come from the car community, so that was definitely part of it. I enjoy working on things. But coming from the car community, when I got my first bike, which like most people was a Sportster, it was an 883. It was a bike my brother bought brand new, and I ended up getting it from him. So I kind of liked it because it was my brother's bike. And I wanted to make it faster because it was gutless. So I went on the forums and started searching, weight reduction, started searching how to make more power. And I found right off the bat, anytime you wanted to make more power, everyone would say, buy a crotch rocket. Okay, well, let's try to lighten this thing up. They are pretty heavy. What can we do to drop some weight? Oh, no, it's a Harley. It's not supposed to be light. Buy a crotch rocket. And it's like, okay, so what about the people who want to do that? And now we're in an age where, I don't know if you can see it, but my bagger behind me, you can get a full carbon body for that. Full carbon fiber. You can get the tank, the fairing, the bags, the rear, the fenders. It is insane what you can get for that bike. That was unheard of when I first started riding. You said weight reduction, people call you stupid. Yeah, okay, take a couple things off, get a lithium battery, but lithium batteries were a lot harder to find back then, and they were expensive. So there really wasn't a whole lot going on. Nowadays, you've got people putting in massive engines, turbos, superchargers, you've got full carbon bodies. This is insane. Like, the age we live in now is way different than it was, 15 years ago. It's completely different than it was 10 years ago. And the landscape is way different even 5 years ago. Like, it is massively different. It is way for the better, definitely for the better. But that is why we make changes. So for anybody who is interested why bikes don't stay stock, it's because they shouldn't. You should tailor make it to you. Now, some bikes, there's not a lot of options. I understand that. And some of them aren't made for long riding. Some of them aren't made to go fast. Some of them are made to only go fast. There's different strokes for different folks. It is what it is. I am so happy, though, that we can live in an age where things can be maximized. Things can be changed so much. And I love going on Instagram, YouTube, and all these different things and seeing the innovation that the motorcycle community is having, because it is booming right now. And I love to see it. I love to follow all the pages. I love to see what people are doing. We are drastically changing this bike over the winter, and we're probably going to keep doing some work on into the spring and summer. This bike is going to be a massive change. It's not going to be this color. The bodywork's going to be a little different. The motor's going to change. Everything is getting wildly different. Why? Because we can, and because we love it. That is kind of what motorcycles are about. There's nothing wrong with picking up a bike and just crushing some miles, doing whatever you want to do. But sometimes the soul of something, especially in the Harley culture, is just getting into it, knowing what your bike is about, making it to yourself, about your personality, and just making it an extension of you. And that's where I live. That's what I love about motorcycles. So comment down below, what is your take on people modifying their bikes? I don't see as much of the shit talking in the forums and stuff anymore, because now there's options and there's more like-minded people. I feel like the younger generation has gotten a hold of motorcycles and are like, yo, we can do some stuff with this. And that's not to knock any of the old heads out there. When I say younger generation, it's not even talking about 20-year-olds. It's more of a mindset and just a culture. You have dirt bike kids, you have skate kids, you have drift kids, you have all these different people coming to this culture that just have a younger mentality. And it's like, what can we do? What can we do with this? And I love it. I hope you do. Subscribe if you're not subscribed, especially if you want to see this dyna build. I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comment section. We can talk about it. Please hit that like button. It helps out so much. I greatly appreciate it. And as always, keep it wretched.